Hello, kindergarten. Happy Monday. It's that time where we get to learn about our newest insect. Okay, so from Eddie's letter, hopefully you were all able to guess that it was an ant. Okay, so I'm going to read you a nonfiction book about an ant so we can collect some facts and then we can add them to our journal. So if you want to have your journal handy, you can. But first, you're just going to listen. Okay, so this is called Ant Up Close and Scary. Hopefully not too scary. Ants are pretty little though. So let's see. Ooh, look at that. That's a great actually shot, friends, of how you can see how it's definitely got those 3 body segments, all 6 legs, it's got antenna. Perfect example of an insect. Ant Up Close and Scary. Now some of these nonfiction books have a lot of words, so I may or may not skip some parts depending on how long I want this video to be, but I'll definitely make sure you get to see all the pictures and all that kind of stuff. So, ants live in almost every corner of our planet. They can be black, brown, yellow, green, or blue. Never seen a blue ant. The scariest thing about ants is that millions of them can live in one colony. They will attack anything in their path. Most ants are workers. They build nests, collect food, and do so many different jobs. Soldier ants form the army. They will attack if the colony or nest is threatened. Queens are the most important ants in the colony. Their job is to lay eggs that will hatch into a new generation. Some of you have probably seen ants in your house. I know we have them all the time. It says this worker ant tends to the other ants, including the queen. So this is just a regular worker ant. These are soldier ants, and then the queen, you can see she's this big one right here. I don't know if you could see that. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So the queen is this big ant right here. Notice how she's bigger than everybody else, right? Okay. Ants in a colony look different because they have different jobs to do. The body. An ant's body has 3 main body parts: the head, thorax, and abdomen. The eyes and mouth and antenna are on the head. The legs are attached to the thorax, and the abdomen is where the food is digested. Okay, so the legs you can see are all attached to this segment here. That would be the thorax, and then its abdomen digests food. Superpowers. Once a year, some of the young ants develop wings. The young queen ants mate with the fastest flyers. Afterward, each queen starts a new colony. The queens no longer need wings, so they bite them off. Weird. Ants have a large head and abdomen and a thin thorax. That's true. See, he's got large head, large thorax, large abdomen, and a skinny little thorax. Look at those chompers on there. An ant's round abdomen is covered in short bristles. The abdomen contains 2 stomachs. One, called the crop, is for storing food for the colony. The other stomach is smaller, and it's for storing its own food. Honeypot ants live in deserts and can supersize. The large worker ants, called replets, eat so much that their abdomens swell as big as cherries. That's like that big. These overstuffed abdomens become a food store for the dry season. So again, here's some pictures, a couple different kinds of ants. I'm going to skip, like I said, some parts because it's a long book. Ooh, look at that up close picture. Oh my goodness. The head. An ant's brain is quite big for an insect. It takes all the information from its antenna, eyes, and other sense organs. Ants have 2 large compound eyes. So one of the things we'll talk about when we talk about insects, friends, is compound eyes. And what that means is if you look real close, let me see if I can zoom in again. If you look real close at his eye, okay, you can see how there's a ton of different lenses, right? So its eye, kind of like a spider's, it's almost like looking through a, what are those called? Like a kaleidoscope where there's lots of lenses, right? Kind of like a fly has compound eyes, okay? So, superpowers. An ant is smart for its size because it has a big brain. If a human brain was on the same scale, it would weigh about 20 pounds. Wow. You can see all the parts of his eye. Fun fact, bull ants have the clearest vision. They can see objects up to 3 feet away. For us, for you and me, you would think, well, 3 feet, that's not very far. But for an ant, think how far that would be because of how small they are, right? The antenna. An ant's antennae are covered with tiny sense organs. An antenna help it to smell and touch things. A sense of smell is important for recognizing other ants. If an ant smells like the colony, the other ants will welcome it. If not, they may try to fight it. Fire ants dig underground nests where they race through narrow, crowded tunnels. Their antennae help them to avoid bumping into ants coming the other way. If humans had antennae, they would never bump into people in crowded streets. Each antenna is jointed so that it can bend and reach further. So you can see all these little joints in the antenna. The mouth. Ants have strong jaws called mandibles. They grip like pliers, pierce like daggers, and dig like spades. A spade is like a shovel. Ants use them to attack and eat prey, or to carry things back to the colony. They also use them to build nests. So here's his mandible, and you saw on that page a while ago. Let's see if I can find that one again. Here, yeah. That jaw, look at those. Crazy. Trapjaw ants hunt with their mandibles wide open. They can snap shut 2,300 times faster than a human eye can blink. Holy moly. That is fast. And again, you can pause here if you want to read some other fun facts, but I'm going to keep going. Ants are fast movers. They have 6 jointed legs with tiny claws that help them grip. As one leg lifts, another touches the ground, so 3 legs are always on the floor. An ant uses the hair on the front of its legs for cleaning. Sahara Desert ants live in one of the hottest places on Earth. When they leave their nest, they easily find their way back. They remember how many steps they have taken. Wow, that's amazing. I know some of us have watches and things that can count our steps, but imagine remembering exactly how many steps you've taken from one place to another. That's crazy. The stinger. I didn't know ants had stingers. An ant's stinger is the pointed bit at the end of its abdomen. The stinger injects venom under the skin of a prey or threatening animal. Some ants have stingers that shoot venom into a predator's eye. Oh, goodness gracious. Jumper ants and bulldog ants can kill people. These aggressive ants bite and then deliver a painful venomous sting. People who are allergic to the venom can die within 15 minutes. Wow. Another fact that you won't see on here, friends, that I've read in other books, is that these are not the kind of ants that we see every day. Okay, just the little black ones we see every day, they don't have these stingers, and they don't have the acid that can do harmful things to people. Okay, so just want to point that out so you don't go freaking out about ants in your house. They definitely are not the same kind of ant. Weaver ants. Ants make different types of nests. Weaver ants make leaf nests. Many worker ants unite to pull all the leaves together. Then, holding the ant larvae carefully, they tap them with their antennae, and this makes the larva produce silk to stick the leaves together. Wow, look at that. That's crazy. Superpowers. Weaver ants have long, strong legs, and they can lift up to 100 times their weight. If you were this strong, you could lift a minibus full of people. Can you imagine lifting a bus? It'd be crazy. A bus full of people. Thorn ants. The big thorns of tropical acacia tree have nasty surprise inside. Thorn ants. Ants hollow out the base of the thorn and live inside it. They like to eat the acacia tree's sweet nectar. They sting any animal or bug that tries to feed on its leaves. So that's a certain kind of acacia tree. I'm pretty sure we don't really have any of those around us. But if you look at the bulge under each of these, I would assume that's probably where the ants live. Thorn ants are smart. They nip off the buds on a branch tips to stop them growing toward nearby trees. Other ants cannot climb across. Who knew ants were so smart? Driver ants. A column of driver ants is a scary sight. Traveling through an African forest, a vast column of 20 million driver ants can be up to 3 feet wide. They eat worms and insects in their path, and sometimes even bigger animals like snakes and horses. Holy moly. So imagine seeing this giant pile of ants going toward you. Now again, are we anywhere near the African forest? No, definitely not. It's on a whole other continent. So is it something for us to be worried about? No. When a driver ant's mandibles slice through a victim's flesh, they lock together. People in African forests sometimes hold the edges of a cut together and then let the ant's mandibles staple their wound. Interesting. Kind of gross. That's scary. For each human, there are thousands of ants. The reason they are so widespread is because ants are clever and efficient, and they work well together in large groups. Ants do sting and can cause damage, but they are also very useful insects. They kill pests on food crops and help to clear up by eating dead animals and food waste. By digging the soil, they make it more fertile so plants grow better. Some ants pollinate flowers too. The scariest thing about ants is how many our planet needs them to remain healthy. So it sounds like they're pretty important to us. Some ants are smart survival experts. They escape floods by forming rafts and bridges. So look, if you see this right here, this little bridge of ants, there's nothing holding them. It's just ants making a bridge out of their bodies. Leafcutter ants bite off bits of leaves. They turn it into compost to grow mushrooms to feed the colony. My goodness, friends, they even are like little gardeners. How crazy. Here's our glossary at the end, another nice close-up picture. So now it's time to head to our journal, okay? So if you want to pause and grab yours and join me, you can, or you can just watch and then fill yours out later, okay? So we had our ladybug, and again, hopefully you have some facts. Same thing with our grasshopper, you should have some facts. Now today, we're gonna label and write about ants, okay? So I'm going to tell you, these are going to actually be pointing to those 3 body parts we talked about, right? So we know each insect has these 3 body parts. They are what make an insect an insect. So just to remind you, we have a head, we have a thorax is the long skinny part, and an abdomen is the bottom of it where its stomachs are, right? So I'm going to write first, we have right here, this one's pointing to his head, right? So again, let me zoom in. Okay, that way you can either write along with me, or like I said, you can stop and do it later. But this first one is his head. So I'm going to write the word head. Okay, and although this cartoon picture of an ant looks like all 3 body parts are the same, we learned, remember, that this actual thorax part of the body is very skinny, right? Okay, so this arrow here is pointing to his thorax. And then we learned that this bottom part here would be the abdomen. And that's where he keeps his stomachs, right? One stomach for food for himself and one stomach for food for the colony. Crazy. So you can pause there if you need to keep labeling, okay? Or you can finish later. I'm going to turn my page because remember I said when I do my facts, makes it way easier to be able to draw lines. And again, mine aren't perfectly straight. They just, whoa, that one got a little off, okay? But they make it easier for me to write. For example, if I wanted to write how ants have 2 stomachs, and I didn't think it would all fit here, I would write ants have 2 and then stomachs down here, okay? So you can choose some facts that you want to write about. I will leave you lastly with my poster that I made a few years ago. Okay, you can use some of these facts. You can think some of their own. Some of these are from the ones that we read, the book we read, and some are from other research. Okay, you're also welcome to do some of your own research. But very exciting, that's insect number 3. All right, have a great day. See you later.